My name is Julia, and from the outside, my life probably looked perfectly ordered. A long, steady marriage, a tidy home nestled behind carefully trimmed hedges, friends gathering for book clubs and soft laughter over half-finished bottles of wine. At 58, I seemed to have everything a woman is supposed to want: comfort, stability, predictability, yet comfort can carry its own kind of emptiness. It began on a Sunday that felt unnervingly still, the kind of silence that makes the air thrum. Richard had left early for his annual fishing trip. I packed his bags, smiled at his jokes, waved him off from the driveway. We both knew the ritual by heart. Perhaps he thought I was being thoughtful, perhaps I was. The truth was, I needed the space as much as he did. Our marriage had grown into a room filled with old echoes, familiar but no longer alive. That afternoon, as I stirred a pot of sauce, the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. I wiped my hands and opened the door to find Adam, my son's childhood friend. Now 27, taller, sharper, carrying the quiet confidence of someone who had learned to navigate the world. The years had changed him in ways I hadn't noticed before, though his smile was the same, half-formed, thoughtful. "Hi Julia," he said. "I saw Richard yesterday. He mentioned he'd be out of town. Thought I'd stop by and see how you've been." I should have said no, but instead, I stepped aside. "Come in," I said, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. The faint scent of soap, mingled with something warmer, drifted in with him. I poured him a glass of wine, and conversation unfolded with Ease's new job. The city. How strange it felt to see this old house again. "You haven't changed at all," he said quietly. I smiled. "Oh, I've changed plenty. I've just learned to hide it better." He didn't laugh, and his eyes lingered on me with a steady, unhurried focus, the kind of gaze that unsettles you because it reaches beyond the surface. "You look beautiful," he said, and the words settled heavier than they should have. Not playful, not the teasing of a boy, but the certainty of a grown man. I turned away, forcing a small chuckle. "You should stay for dinner. I made too much anyway." We ate together while the rain tapped softly against the window, our conversation drifting. He told me about a woman he'd dated who left because he was too serious, saying he was drawn to something real, something steady. His fingers traced the rim of his glass, and when he lifted his gaze, the air between us shifted. Something inside me stirred, something I thought had quietly faded years ago. After dinner, I began clearing the dishes, aware of his silent presence behind me. When I turned, he was closer than I expected, and his hand brushed a loose strand of hair from my cheek, gentle yet intentional. "I've thought about this," he murmured, and my breath tightened. "Adam, this isn't right." "I know," he said softly, his voice controlled, almost calm. "That's why I waited until he was gone." The honesty in those words struck me harder than anything else. No excuses, no performance, just truth. "He's your best friend's father," I whispered. "No," he replied quietly. "He's your husband, but you don't look at him the way you just looked at me." His words cracked something open in me. I could have stopped him, reminded both of us of the line we were standing on, but for the first time in years, I felt not as a wife, not as a mother, but as a woman. I stepped back, my pulse trembling at my throat. "I need time," I said. He nodded, calm and almost patient. Then he walked out, leaving me alone in the kitchen, surrounded by the hum of the refrigerator and the fading scent of wine, feeling terrified and alive at the same time. Morning arrived, gray and uneasy, and I sat with a cup of untouched coffee, watching the light crawl slowly across the floor. I hadn't slept. My mind kept replaying his voice, his eyes, the way he had spoken to me, as if I still mattered. Wasn't desire supposed to fade with age? Wasn't longing something we were meant to outgrow? That was the lie. I realized we never stop wanting to feel wanted. My phone buzzed then. A message. "I'm sorry if I made things uncomfortable. I won't push you," but I meant every word. My fingers hovered above the screen before I finally typed, "We need to talk." His response appeared almost immediately. "Not at your place." "Tell me where." That evening, we met at the park on Willow Lane, the one with stone benches and rusted swings. The sun was sinking low, and the air carried the scent of damp leaves. He approached wearing a green sweater, hands in his pockets, his gaze steady. "You look nice," he said softly. "Let's just talk," I answered. We sat, while life continued around us, children laughing, wind stirring through the branches. "I don't understand any of this," I said at last. "You were practically family." "I'm not a boy anymore," he replied, "and you're not invisible." I turned away, my chest tightening with something I couldn't name. "I don't want to break anything," he added gently. "I just needed you to know you deserve more than being unseen." His words struck deep. I hadn't heard anything like that in years. I don't even know what I want, I whispered. That's all right, he said as we both stood. I'll wait for you to believe it. We walked back in silence, our hands brushing once, lightly. He didn't kiss me. He didn't have to. The damager, the awakening was already complete.